Welcome to Healthwise for seniors, where beauty doesn't fade, it evolves. So here's the question: does your haircut still represent the woman you've become? They say, it's just hair. But if you've ever walked past a mirror and thought, this doesn't feel like me anymore, then you know it's never just hair. At Healthwise, we believe that after 50, your hairstyle should do more than flatter. It should reflect your quiet confidence, your lived-in grace, your unapologetic presence. But let's be honest, there's also a narrative out there whispering, don't go too short, you'll look older. Or worse, don't go gray, you'll disappear. Let's challenge that. Let's reframe aging not as something to hide, but as something to highlight. In today's episode, we're diving into 6 elegant haircuts that aren't loud or trendy, but they shift something deep inside. Styles that move with your face, with your life, and most importantly, with your truth. Sparkles, some of these cuts might surprise you. Sparkles, one of them, may be the one you've been waiting for all along. Sparkles, and yes, 5 has changed lives, really. So before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Healthwise for seniors. It's the simplest way to say, yes, I want more of this kind of beauty in my life. Now, ready to discover the haircut that might just change how you walk through the world? Let's begin. Let's be honest, your hair changes after 50, and not just physically. Yes, it may get thinner, drier, grayer, or start receding. And science has an explanation. Hormonal shifts, especially declining estrogen, impact the scalp, follicles, and hair texture. But what no one prepares us for is how deeply emotional these changes can feel. Your hair isn't just sitting on your head. It's holding memories. For Susan, 62, a retired teacher from Vermont, it was her long chestnut waves that she had worn since college. Cutting it short felt like saying goodbye to the girl I used to be, she said, brushing her silver bob in the mirror. But also, hello to the woman I've become. Because here's the thing, when your hair starts changing, it often feels like you're being pushed into a version of yourself you didn't choose. And worse, sometimes the world stops noticing you altogether. Many women tell me, no one comments on my hair anymore. I used to get compliments when I changed styles. Now, I could dye it blue and no one would bat an eye. There's a quiet grief in that, but also a powerful opportunity. Hair after 50 is no longer just about trends or convenience. It becomes a conversation with yourself. A way to reflect who you are now, not who you used to be. For Linda, 58, a divorce coach from California, cutting her hair into a sleek pixie after her breakup wasn't just a makeover, it was a reclamation. It was my way of saying, this chapter is mine. And that's what makes post-50 hair so meaningful. It asks you not just how you want to look, but how you want to feel. Seen, radiant, true, maybe your hair is finer now, maybe it's more stubborn. But what if, instead of hiding it or mourning it, you honored it? What if each strand was treated not as a problem, but as a story of survival, of strength, of showing up, still beautiful, still here? Because elegance doesn't come from denying change. It comes from embracing it with intention. What makes a haircut truly elegant after 50? It's not about length, it's not about trends. It's about how that cut makes you feel in your own skin, calm, grounded, quietly radiant. Elegance, at its core, is about intention. It's the opposite of chasing what's trendy or trying to fit into someone else's mold. A truly elegant haircut feels curated, not copied. It's designed to reflect the woman you are today, not the girl you used to be. You see, after 50, something shifts. Hair no longer exists just to look cute or to follow a magazine cover. It becomes part of your story, a mirror of the life you've lived, and the presence you carry now. And when you embrace that shift, something powerful happens. You stop styling out of fear of looking older. You start choosing based on how you want to show up in the world. Elegant hair has structure, but never stiffness. The lines are clean, thoughtful, softly sculpted to bring out your best features, cheekbones, jawlines, the curve of your neck. It respects your natural texture instead of fighting against it. A cut that moves when you move, that grows out gracefully, that doesn't ask you to wake up 2 hours early to wrestle it into submission, that is elegance. Because elegance always whispers. It never begs for attention. When I think of elegance, I think of Linda from Denver. She's 61 and used to wear her hair long, unlayered, and heavy because she thought it made her look younger. One day she told her stylist, "I'm tired of hiding behind my hair." She walked out with a soft, shoulder-grazing cut with subtle layers that lifted her face. "I didn't just change my look," she said. "I changed how I enter a room." That's elegance. Or take Marie, 58, who embraced her silver hair and paired it with a blunt cut just below the jawline. Nothing flashy, just clean, intentional lines. "I feel polished without trying," she told me, "and I finally see myself again." Elegant doesn't mean severe. It doesn't mean boring. It means refined, feminine without fuss. Soft yet smart. It means letting go of the pressure to impress and choosing to express. You don't need the trendiest cut. You need one that feels timeless for you. Something that aligns with your lifestyle, your energy, your face, your truth. A haircut that doesn't apologize for your age but honors it. That doesn't scream, "Look at me," but quietly says, "I'm still here and I know exactly who I am." Because the most elegant women I've ever met weren't defined by what they wore on their head, but by how beautifully they wore themselves. No two faces are the same, and that's what makes elegance so personal. The key to a truly flattering haircut isn't following a trend. It's choosing a style that honors the unique architecture of your face. When a haircut harmonizes with your bone structure, it doesn't just look good, it elevates your entire presence. That's why understanding your face shape is essential, especially after 50, when features may subtly shift and softness becomes more important than symmetry. If your face is oval, lucky you. This shape is often considered the most versatile. The balanced proportions mean you can pull off almost any cut, but what truly enhances an oval face are styles that follow your natural flow without adding unnecessary volume. Long layered bobs, shoulder-length waves, or even a side-swept pixie can all bring out your features. The only caution: avoid heavy bangs that cover your forehead and hide that beautiful symmetry. Round faces carry a sense of youthfulness, but they benefit from a bit of elongation. A well-placed layer that falls just below the chin can visually lengthen the face. A textured bob or long layers with side-swept bangs can break up the circular outline and add a touch of definition. What to skip? Super short styles with a lot of volume on the sides. They tend to emphasize width instead of balance. A subtle lift at the crown and softness around the cheeks can create just the right harmony. Now, if you have a square face, your jawline is your signature. It's strong, defined, and absolutely striking. But to soften the angles, you'll want to choose cuts that create movement. Soft waves, side-swept layers, or even a longer bob with gentle graduation can make a huge difference. Avoid blunt bangs or harsh, straight-across styles that mimic the lines of your face too literally. Instead, aim to bring softness to structure. That's where elegance lives. Heart-shaped faces are naturally expressive. With a broader forehead and narrower chin, balance is the goal. Side parts work wonders here, as do chin-length bobs that add width to the lower face. A long pixie cut with volume near the ears can also help even things out beautifully. Be cautious with top-heavy styles or lots of volume at the crown. They can exaggerate the upper part of your face. Think softness, flow, and feminine balance. For long or oblong faces, it's all about creating the illusion of width. You want the eye to move across, not down. Shoulder-length cuts with blunt ends can ground the look, while curtain bangs or waves that hit at the cheekbone level help create fullness in all the right places. Very long, straight styles may elongate the face even more than intended. A little volume on the sides and subtle layering can restore symmetry and bring light back to the center of the face. What's most important, though, isn't memorizing a rulebook. It's recognizing how a haircut interacts with who you are. A flattering cut doesn't just frame your face, it frames your confidence. When your hair falls exactly where it should, lifting the jawline, softening the cheeks, highlighting the eyes, you don't just look more elegant. You feel more yourself. And that's the most powerful kind of beauty. Hair after 50 tells a different story. It's not just thinner or drier, it behaves differently. It listens less to heat tools, resists shape, flattens where it once bounced, and frizzes where it used to shine. But these changes aren't flaws. They're invitations to adapt, to work with your texture, not against it. And that's where the right haircut becomes more than cosmetic, it becomes personal. For women with fine or thinning hair, the key is structure and movement, without sacrificing fullness. A blunt bob that sits at the chin or slightly below can give the illusion of thicker ends. Strategic soft layering adds volume at the crown while keeping the bottom full. Avoid too many choppy layers, which can make already delicate hair look sparse. The right stylist knows how to cut with intention, feathering just enough to lift, not to break density. If your hair is coarse or naturally curly, it's time to stop trying to tame it. Embrace what it wants to do. A layered cut that follows your curl pattern can bring shape and softness without the bulk. Cutting while dry is often the best approach for textured hair. It lets the stylist see how your curls settle naturally and adjust accordingly. A shoulder-length cut with face-framing pieces often works wonders. It opens up your features while keeping the weight distributed. For women dealing with dryness and frizz, a common postmenopause shift, moisture is your best friend. But so is shape. Hair that's dehydrated will always resist a style that requires polish. Instead, lean into the natural bend of your strands. Soft shags, longer pixies, and shoulder-length layers can all create structure that doesn't rely on daily heat styling. And remember, healthy ends matter more than length. Trimming regularly keeps hair from looking neglected and restores bounce, even in aging strands. If your hair is wiry or unpredictable, don't fight it, refine it. Cuts that blend layers with weight help manage the inconsistency. Think soft razor layers around the face, a longer crop with movement, or even a classic bob with the slightest bevel. These styles allow hair to move naturally while still looking deliberate. Elegance doesn't come from controlling every strand, it comes from knowing how to guide them. Texture after 50 is less about what it used to be and more about what it wants to become. Hormonal changes reduce oil production on the scalp, meaning hair often loses its natural gloss. That's why color and cut now have to work together. A sleek gray blunt cut, for instance, can add back the sense of richness through shape, not shine. Or a softly layered silver shag can bring energy and lightness without needing product overload. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all haircut for mature hair, but there is a common thread: intention. A good cut listens to your texture. A great one respects it. And the best one, it celebrates it. Because your hair doesn't need to look like it did at 30 to be beautiful, it just needs to feel like you again. Some haircuts don't just change your look, they change how you carry yourself. They speak for you before you say a word. And after 50, when beauty becomes more about presence than perfection, the right cut can do more than flatter, it can elevate. The soft layered bob is one of those rare styles that suits nearly every face shape and texture. What makes it so elegant is its subtlety. The layers are feathered gently around the face and ends, adding movement without volume, softness without effort. It's perfect for women with fine or thinning hair because it gives the illusion of fullness without adding bulk. Whether you wear it at the chin or grazing the shoulders, this cut moves with you, framing the jawline, softening the cheeks, and lifting the entire face. And it grows out beautifully, always a sign of a well-designed style. Then there's the long pixie, or what some call the grown-out crop. It's a cut that surprises people. Feminine, modern, and confident, not severe like the classic pixie of the past. The long pixie hugs the neck and allows for slightly longer layers around the crown and sides, which can be tucked behind the ears or swept into a soft fringe. It's incredibly flattering on women with strong cheekbones or elegant jawlines, and it works wonders for gray or silver hair, giving it purpose and polish. For women with thinning hair, the volume at the crown adds height and texture without weight. It's effortless, but never boring. For those who want versatility and elegance in equal measure, the shoulder-length cut with subtle layers offers the best of both worlds. This is the cut that quietly does everything. It lengthens the neck, softens the neckline, and adapts to both casual and formal styling. The layers aren't dramatic, they're designed to move, not compete. Add curtain bangs to soften the forehead, or tuck it behind your ears with pearl studs for a polished evening look. This cut respects your hair's natural behavior and enhances it with shape, not struggle. The classic chin-length bob never goes out of style, and for good reason. It's structured but never harsh. When done well, it creates a perfect frame around the face, defining the jaw and highlighting the cheekbones. It's especially powerful for women with finer hair because it brings fullness to the lower face where volume is often needed. Whether styled sleek or slightly tousled, this cut brings clarity and precision. It doesn't try to look young. It looks deliberate, and that's far more impactful. If you're craving a little texture and energy without losing elegance, the modern shag or soft feathered cut is a beautiful choice. Unlike the rocker shags of the past, today's version is refined and purposeful. Layers are placed where volume tends to fade, around the crown and face, while feathered ends create lightness. It's ideal for women with naturally wavy or curly hair, and it works especially well when air-dried. There's a kind of freedom in this style. It says you're still playful, but grounded in grace. And finally, few things are more striking than sleek, well-cut silver or gray hair. A blunt cut on salt and pepper or fully silver strands is bold in the most elegant way. The sharpness of the shape adds density to fine hair and puts the focus on shine, texture, and intention. There's nothing apologetic about this style. It's a full embrace of aging with sophistication. When done right, with healthy ends, moisture, and movement, it becomes a signature. Not just a haircut, but a statement of pride. Gray hair isn't a problem to be fixed. It's a question we ask ourselves: what do I want my presence to say? For some women, choosing to color their hair is a way of holding onto a chapter they're not ready to close. For others, it's simply a form of self-expression, a shade of auburn or honey that makes their skin glow and their eyes brighter. But for many, letting the silver strands grow in naturally is one of the most liberating choices they've ever made. Not because it's easier, but because it's real. The truth is, the issue isn't gray or not gray. The issue is intention. When you color your hair out of fear of looking old, of being overlooked, of not being relevant, you shrink. But when you color it because it brings you joy, or when you embrace the gray because it feels honest, you expand. That's the difference. Caroline, 59, shared that she spent years covering up her silver roots every 3 weeks, exhausted by the routine but terrified to stop. Then one day, she let it grow. "I was scared I'd disappear," she said. But what happened was the opposite. People saw me again, really saw me. Her silver bob now gleams with health, not because it's trendy, but because it's cared for. It tells a story not of surrender, but of sovereignty. Silver hair, when nurtured, is luminous. It reflects light differently. It frames the face with softness, with wisdom, with a certain magnetism that only comes when you've stopped trying to be anyone else. But gray hair isn't low maintenance. In fact, it often not every haircut ages you, but some do little to support the woman you've become. After 50, the goal isn't to look younger. It's to look like your most elegant self. That means certain styles, while popular or once beloved, might now be working against you, not for you. Overly choppy or highly textured cuts, for example, can be risky. When layers are too short, too sharp, or scattered without intention, they can make thinning hair appear even sparser. Instead of adding volume, they add chaos. Fine hair loses its softness, and the overall look feels dated, not defined. The problem isn't layering, it's when layering becomes fragmentation. If your hair needs life, it needs movement with structure, not random lift. Very long, unstructured hair is another common trap. There's a myth that long hair equals femininity, but if that length has no shape, it can weigh down the face, drag attention downward, and look disconnected from the elegant woman you are now. Length isn't the issue, intention is. If your long hair is dry, split at the ends, or hiding your jawline and shoulders, it may be time for a rethink. A gentle trim or face-framing layer can bring back the lightness without losing length. Harsh, blunt bangs are also worth reconsidering. While bangs can absolutely be flattering, especially when feathered or side-swept, thick, straight-across fringe can harden the face, especially as skin loses some of its firmness with age. The eye is drawn to the heaviness, not the eyes. A softer bang that blends into your cut can open your face rather than close it off. Then there are the ultra-trendy, high-maintenance cuts that look stunning on social media, but demand more energy than they give back. If your hairstyle requires heat styling, product layering, or constant reshaping just to look acceptable, it's no longer a style, it's a struggle. After 50, elegance should feel effortless. Your cut should work with your texture, not demand a war with it every morning. Finally, avoid any style that feels like a costume one that tries to chase youth instead of celebrating wisdom. A too young cut doesn't make you look younger. It makes you look like you're pretending. And elegance, by definition, never pretends. What's worth remembering is that these mistakes aren't failures. They're just old stories, and you have every right to write a new one. Because the most flattering haircut isn't just one that fits your face, it's one that fits your life. A great haircut doesn't start with scissors, it starts with a conversation. Yet for many women over 50, that conversation feels intimidating. You sit in the chair, unsure what to ask for, flipping through photos that don't quite feel like you, hoping your stylist can read between the lines. But elegance isn't something you stumble into, it's something you express. The first step is knowing how you want to feel, not just how you want to look. Do you want to feel lighter, softer, more structured, more seen? Hair is emotional. The words you choose should come from within, not from a trend. Telling your stylist, "I want something that feels effortless but intentional," gives them far more insight than asking for a short bob. Bringing reference photos can be helpful, but they should be the beginning of a conversation, not the end. Point out what you love about the image, the way the layers frame the face, the softness in the fringe, the fullness at the ends. Don't try to replicate someone else's head of hair. Let the photo be inspiration, not instruction. Be honest about your lifestyle. If you don't want to blow-dry your hair every day, say that. If you travel often or live somewhere humid, let that guide the design. The most beautiful cut is the one that supports your rhythm, not one that becomes a burden. Don't be afraid to use words like elegant, timeless, natural, or easy. These aren't vague, they're powerful. They signal to your stylist that you're looking for something beyond trendy, that you want a style with longevity, one that ages with you, not against you. If you're unsure, ask your stylist for cuts that complement your face shape or bring softness to areas you'd like to highlight. Say, "I'd love to bring out my cheekbones," or "I want something that lifts my jawline." These cues help your stylist design with purpose, not guesswork. And if something doesn't feel right during the cut, speak up. This is your hair, your mirror, your reflection. You're not being difficult, you're being present. A stylist who truly listens won't just hear your words, they'll hear your life. They'll take into account your expression when you say, "I haven't felt like myself in years," or "I want something that feels like who I am now." Those aren't small comments, they're design blueprints. Because at this stage, you're not just asking for a haircut, you're asking for alignment. And when communication is clear, your stylist doesn't just shape your hair, they help shape your confidence. Every strand on your head is more than just keratin, it's a quiet declaration of self-worth. And after 50, that declaration becomes louder, not through volume or color, but through presence. Your hair no longer exists to please anyone else. It's not a symbol of youth. It's a symbol of ownership, of the life you've lived, the choices you've made, and the elegance you carry into every room. A thoughtful cut, a silver streak left untouched, a simple style that reflects who you are rather than who you were told to be, these are not fashion statements. They are acts of agency. There's dignity in the decision to care. To book that salon appointment not because you want to fix something, but because you know you still matter. There's pride in standing in front of the mirror and saying, "I want to see myself again," not a younger version, a truer one. Whether you wear your hair cropped, layered, silver, brunette, or tousled in the most natural way, what makes it beautiful isn't the style. It's the message behind it. I am still here. I still see myself. I still choose to show up with grace. Hair after 50 doesn't whisper that you're fading. It reminds the world that you've arrived, fully, unapologetically, and on your own terms. It's not a final chapter. It's a refined one. And every time you run your fingers through it, adjust a parting, or simply let it fall where it wants, you're not just grooming, you're affirming, not just beauty, but value, not just style, but self-respect, not just change, but becoming. Because at this stage, the most elegant thing you can do is to wear your truth in full view. So, which haircut spoke to you, not just in style, but in meaning? Was it the soft bob that frames your strength, the long pixie that reclaims your lightness, or the sleek silver cut that dares to say, "This is me, unfiltered"? After 50, elegance isn't loud. It doesn't chase trends, it whispers, "I've lived, I've grown, and I still belong." And maybe that's what a great haircut does. It doesn't just change your reflection, it realigns you with the woman you've become, stronger, wiser, more at peace with herself. Speech balloon, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these styles are you wearing or dreaming of trying? Tell us in the comments. You never know who you'll inspire by simply sharing your story. Bellhop, and if today's video brought you clarity, comfort,